Hi there everybody, it's Martin here with more down-to-earth teachings on mediumship, without the fluff. So today's video is 10 tips on how to practice mediumship. And these are the exact same tips that I give people during classes, courses, workshops, whenever we have to practice. This is what I teach. So if that sounds of interest to you, stay with me. Okay, 10 tips on how to practice mediumship. Let's get into it. So tip number 1, do it at the right time. There's a right time to do mediumship, and that's when you have a sitter in front of you or a person you're working for in front of you. Don't try and do mediumship by yourself. Don't try and do it when you're meditating, when you're sitting in the power. Don't try and do it when you're just sitting around doing nothing and just ask spirit to link with you. Why would they? They will come forward when their loved one is there present with you. Don't go on Facebook and just try and link into a random photograph. It'll be so much harder. The right time to practice mediumship is either in circles, classes, courses or workshops when you're meant to be practicing, or in practice sittings. But the time to practice mediumship is when you have somebody in front of you to work for. That's the key. So tip number 2. Work with a partner, work with a sitter. It's easier if you're working for just one person. If you have to work in front of a group and there's multiple people who may be able to take it, it'll be a lot harder. It's much easier if you only have to work for one sitter, because then one person only is thinking about the information and taking the information. So when we start with beginners, we start them off working in pairs. We start them off working with a sitter, because that is much easier than getting to work in front of a group. To work in front of a group, you've got to be trained to be able to place it and to be able to deal with multiple people trying to take the contact. So much easier to start working with a partner, working with a sitter, doing it one-on-one. So tip number 3, ask for a communicator for your sitter. Ask for a communicator for the person opposite you. This sounds so obvious. It sounds so easy, doesn't it? But people don't do it. And if you don't ask for anyone specifically, you may get just anyone. But if you ask, can I have somebody who links the person in front of me? Can I have a loved one who belongs to my sitter? Then that's what you're going to get. That's where your focus, your intent is. So keep it specific as to who you want. It sounds like maybe it's so obvious you shouldn't even bother. But the number of times that I go to people who are having problems and I'll say, well, did you ask for someone who links to the person in front of you? And they say, no, I just opened up to whoever came. And there you have your answer. If you're open to anyone, you might get anyone. So always ask for a communicator from spirit who links to the person in front of you. So tip number 4, get energized. Mediumship is an active process. Of all mediumship, it's the most active type of mediumship. And the medium has to do the work. The medium has to move their mind to blend to the spirit world. We have to get excited. We have to get energized. We have to get empowered. We have to do the work. If you watch a medium working on platform, it's like an energized, hyperactive version of themselves. If you try and do mediumship just from a quite relaxed, easygoing state, okay, spirit, you can come and work with me if you want, it won't work. You've got to go to them. You've got to get active, energized, empowered. Be excited. It's exciting stuff, this mediumship. So number 5, connect to the spirit world. Now this sounds so obvious, doesn't it? Because mediumship is all about connecting to spirit. So you have to connect to the spirit world. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So set your intent to connect to the spirit world and then connect, blend, and hold that connection with spirit. You can use a visualization if you like. There are numerous visualizations you can use. There are so many different tools for connecting. What we find is that what works for one person may not work for another, so you have to find out what works for you. But if you don't connect with spirit first, you may end up working psychically. If you don't connect with spirit first, you'll find it doesn't work. We need to blend with the spirit world for mediumship to work. And if you're not really sure how to connect to spirit, and a lot of people don't teach that in a great deal of detail, then I do have a class on that, a teaching video, Mediumship Class 3, Connecting to Spirit, where I go through all the tools and techniques in detail. I also go through it in detail as well in my course, The Fundamentals of Mediumship, which is 4 2-hour sessions all about the theory and the basics of doing mediumship. I shall put links to both in the description and comments below if you're interested. But connecting to spirit is key. It is the basis of mediumship, absolutely. Tip number 6, move and expand your awareness. Mediumship functions from an altered state. We have to move ourselves into an altered state of awareness. We can't do it from our rational thinking mind. We're moving away from that into an altered state. We have to move our awareness outside of our head. We move our awareness into the energy of our aura. We move to the side or to the back. We push our awareness outside of our head. Because if we stay in our head, we'll find our imagination. If we stay in our head, we'll find our own mind. When we're working with spirit, we're seeking to get information that's not coming from our own mind. And we find that by moving our awareness just outside of our own head. So move and expand your awareness and get outside your own head. So if you're enjoying the video so far, if you're getting benefit from it, then do hit the like button, do leave me a comment. Let's get on to tip number 7. Start with a man or a woman. We blend with the spirit world, we're seeking to connect one person, and we then want to know, is it a man or is it a woman? That's the first statement that should come out of our mouth. The discipline of mediumship is to stay with that. Don't just start talking about any information. Oh, I see a lovely bridge, I'm seeing a rainbow. That will just slow the process. That will just get in the way. Or you may end up working psychically. We blend with spirit, we invite somebody forward to work with us. Invite one, that's a bonus tip there. Invite one forward. Not many, just the one. That's all you need, one. We ask for a spirit communicator to work with us. They blend with us. We need to find out, okay, have I got a man or a woman? That's where the starting point is. Start with a man or with a woman. Tip number 8, get information about your communicator. Information about the communicator is what we call evidence. We're looking for evidence about them. We're looking for information about the communicator. Who are they? What can we tell the sitter about them? Maybe get their age, maybe get their relationship, maybe get their personality, maybe get their description, maybe get some information about them, maybe their job, their hobbies, their likes and dislikes. And we're bringing information forward about them so the sitter can recognize them. And really only once the sitter has recognized them should we be looking forward to move to the message. The purpose of mediumship is to bring forward someone who can be recognized. So stay with the information, the evidence, until you get them placed, until you get them recognized, and then you can move to the message. So tip number 9, check all your evidence. Those who know me know I bang on a lot about checking all your evidence. It's so important in mediumship to check that the information you get is understood. If you just gave a whole bunch of information and you never asked whether any of it was understood, at the end, if most of it's not understood, you'll get a no. If some of it's understood, you'll get a sort of. If most of it's understood, you'll get a yes. But very few beginners actually get all of it right. So you've got to check as you go along. You've got to check each piece. If it's not understood, it helps you. It gives you feedback. It helps you understand, are you getting it right? This is why you need a sitter in front of you. So in real time, you know whether it's working or whether it's not. You know whether you're getting it pretty much right or you know that bit's not quite right, something's gone wrong there. It helps you. It gives you information about how you're working. So we need to check all of our evidence. We need to find out, does the recipient understand the information we're given? And we want to ask them to answer up. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Is it a don't know? Is it, well, I sort of understand it, but you're not quite right? That's what we want to know. Yes, no, don't know, sort of. That way you understand whether it's working for you. You understand. And if you get a no or a don't know, you can go back and try and work with it. But if you don't ask for any feedback, you'll not know whether it's working or not. And all you'll find at the end of the link is that maybe it didn't work for you. And you don't want too much information. You don't want your sitter to tell you this communicator's life story. If you get too much information, it will trigger your own mind. It will trigger your own thoughts. It won't be helpful. And finally, tip number 10, get some feedback at the end. Be open to feedback. Ask for feedback from the recipient. And what you want to know is what was correct, what wasn't correct, and what was sort of understood but not quite right. That's the kind of things you want to know and learn from it. That's good feedback. Feedback really helps us as mediums and will help us learn. So tip number 10, get feedback and be open to that feedback and learn from that feedback. So there you have it. 10 tips on how to do mediumship. I do hope that you've enjoyed the video. I do hope you got a lot from it. And if you have, do hit the like button. Do leave me a comment and let me know. If you do like my teachings, do subscribe to the channel and do check out all the other videos I have on the channel. So I hope you found the video helpful. Hope you got a lot from it. I look forward to seeing you all again in the next one.